Okay, guys, so, like I said before, this is... Okay. Like I said before, this is the MCU ranked. So, I'm ready. So, let's get into it. Coming in last place is Thor: The Dark World. I know it looks... You're going to see, like, a lot of disc changes, like, from DVD to Blu-ray, DVD, Blu-ray. So, it's going to be weird. Because some of these I actually bought before I got a PS4, which is how I watch Blu-ray discs. So I'm sorry. I'm also kind of cleaning up my bed at the same time because my bed is like messy. I know that opening was cringy. Okay, that was random. Okay, so this movie here, honestly, can get boring. It's like I don't like the setting changes, like from Earth, Asgard, back to Earth. Alright, y'all, we're going to space. I just didn't like that. I mean, yeah, Tom Hiddleston as Loki was good. I do feel like Jane Foster was, just there. She's like, oh yeah, she's just that guy. She's that person that just tries to remind you that she's there, and you know she's there. Honestly, I feel like Anthony Hopkins got so bored, and if you don't know who he is, he played Odin right there. Not Thor. That guy. That old guy right there. Yeah, there were times where he honestly got so bored that he just started yelling. He started shouting his lines, and you could tell he was just getting bored. And I honestly do kind of think Thor, to me, wasn't that good. So yeah, and on the back it says bigger, better, epic. I'm sorry, but if you think that this movie was better, I'm sorry. But that's enough for that. Let's just get into the next. Oh, yeah, I remembered. I forgot to mention, I was even kind of disappointed in Thor in this movie. I still do think he was good in the role, or Chris Hemsworth did good. I mean, but he was just kind of disappointing. That was random. And then, coming in at, what place? Coming in at number 21 is The Incredible Hulk. Now, a lot of people don't realize that this is in the MCU. And yes, it's in the MCU because at the end, instead of having a post-credit scene, Tony Stark comes in. At the final scene, Tony Stark comes in telling General Ross that they're setting up a team, which is also the Avengers. But yeah, it's honestly just a boring movie. Not really a boring movie. It's just weird. What's her face? Liv Tyler. And honestly, she is kind of a good actress. It's just she said her lines kind of whispery, like Bruce, and like literally all of her lines she just whispered. If you don't believe me, go watch the movie. You could probably still find it at Walmart. Sorry. Abomination. I know a lot of people still do think that he was an okay villain. He didn't do anything. Like, I don't even remember if he said any lines. It's just, he just wasn't a good villain. I mean, he didn't, like I said, I don't know, I'm not sure if he said any lines. He just didn't do anything. I mean, yeah, that last fight was pretty cool, especially for its time. It was cool for its time, but then you look at it now, and it's just a bunch of CGI dudes. I mean, the Hulk, hang on, I got it. You can even tell the Hulk just doesn't look that good. I know I probably shouldn't be judging a character based off of this, but I would, like, pull up the movie, but that'd take too long. It's just, this movie, while I still do have a lot of fun watching it, I have a lot more fun than I do Thor: The Dark World. It kind of just falls flat. But with all that being said, it just wasn't that decent. It just wasn't that good. And coming in at number 20, Iron Man 2. Okay, this movie, I do kind of have a soft spot for it. Mostly because I just love Robert Downey Jr. in the role of Tony Stark. But and honestly, this is weird, but I actually feel like the portable suit is probably my favorite Iron Man suit. I know that was random. It's just, this movie isn't that well done. I know Jon Favreau, who plays Happy Hogan too. Fun fact if you didn't know. He plays Happy Hogan, and he wanted like 2 years to make the script, but they wanted him to make the movie by, when was it, 2010. So they kind of cut him short. Like, he wanted the time to make he wanted a lot of time to make this movie, but they didn't give it to him, so it was just kind of cut short, and it just felt rushed. I mean, honestly, it did. You can watch it, it just feels rushed. But I mean, yes, there is good action. It introduces Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. And it is fun to see all the returning cast members, except for Terrence Howard, because this is the movie where Don Cheadle changes, or this is where Terrence Howard turns into Don Cheadle and plays War Machine. It was like one of those weird cast jumps that no one was expecting. But with all that being said, it's still kind of a fun movie. It just doesn't, I feel like the plot just doesn't age that well, to be honest. Not the plot. I just feel like the movie just doesn't age well. I mean, Justin Hammer, he was meh. Whiplash was, again, kind of okay. But, I mean, all you had to do was just give him his board. Give him his board. As Mickey Rourke says it. But with all that being said, sometimes it can get fun, and then sometimes it's just weird. But with all that being said, that was Iron Man 2 for you. Now this is one I am going to get so much hate for. I honestly can't believe I'm putting it this low. I don't want to put it this low because it's such a fun movie. Okay, this is rough. Coming in at 19, again, I don't want any death threats in the comments, because a lot of people put this at number 1. If you know exactly what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. Coming in at number 19, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I know, I am going to get so much hate. But honestly, guys, there's like no villain until like the last 30 minutes of this movie. At some points you think it's the Sovereign, who are those gold, creepy looking people. And it's just that movie where you're like, what? I didn't like what they did with Star-Lord at all. I mean, I feel like there were some points where he was good, but there were also points where he just wasn't that well. It just wasn't that good. And it's weird because Ego, who is played by Kurt Russell, I'm honestly kind of shocked that he's not on the case. I mean, he's not even on the back. He's not even on the back. I mean, they did a good job with Yondu. I mean, what is that? Yeah. I mean, they did a good job with Yondu. I like the character development they gave him, or the character arc that they gave him. But again, it just falls flat. I mean, I know a lot of people who just freaking love this movie. The soundtrack in this movie was good. It's like the first one. It just, I mean, it's a good soundtrack. Like I said, it's a fun movie. It really is. It's just, what's the runtime? 136 minutes. I really don't want to do math, but that's off topic. It's just, they really didn't give a lot of good. I'm losing my words. Yes, overall, it is kind of a funnier movie. Sometimes, not okay, no. I had a good opening scene where they're fighting that, monster. I don't remember what it was called. I don't know what it's called. I mean, I probably would if I hadn't heard it, but. And they're fighting it to Mr. Blue Sky, which is really funny. Yeah, but for a while, you kind of think Rocket was the bad guy because he stole those batteries from the Sovereign. And it's like, do you really blame them for chasing them? And, yeah, that's enough. I really don't want to get too much more hate. So that's all. But that was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Again, I'm going to get hated for this. I may lose a couple of subscribers. I don't know. But it's my opinion. I'm not saying this list is the right list. It's really not. Okay? But coming in at number 18. Sorry, my list is like right over there. See? That's my list. Coming in at number 18. I do not have this movie on me because it is still out in theaters. But that is Captain Marvel. I know! This is weird. I put Captain Marvel over Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which could change in the near future. But to me, Captain Marvel, sometimes I just got I got a little bored through some of it, like when like her and Nick Fury. I know her and Nick Fury talking about like their history and whatnot, but some of that, I mean, I feel like that dragged on. I mean, like I said, I'm kind of a fan of this movie. Heck, if you didn't see my other video, I was wearing this hat, which is the SHIELD logo, and it's that exact hat from Captain Marvel. So, I mean, I like the movie. I really do. But, hang on. I've been talking a lot in this video. I need some drink. That was weird. Anyways, it's just, I mean, overall the action was okay, I guess. They gave her a pretty decent character development. I mean, not gonna lie, she is kind of attractive. What? Oh my god, I just said that on camera. Yes, I did say that. You heard me correct, and that is my opinion. But to me, it's just, I feel like some of it just dragged on. I mean, it's got some decent effects. The effects, like, crap, what is that planet called? Planet where she's from. It's one of those, I would know it if I heard it. I know she's like a Kree, or Cray, or whatever. It's one of the two. It's Kree. I really think it's Kree. Oh, it's my guitar. Let me fix that. There we go. I mean, I like the movie again. I liked the chemistry between Nick Fury and Carol Danvers, which is Captain Marvel. If you didn't know, if you've been living under a rock for the past almost a year. Oh, I can't do that. Okay. Excuse me. They gave them good chemistry, whatnot, but honestly, I do not want to just continuously talk because this video has almost been 13 minutes long. So, carry on. My wayward son. Okay. So, coming in at but that was Captain Marvel. That was Captain Marvel and what I thought about it. Here's my mini review. Coming in at number 17 is Captain America, the First Avenger. Again, this is a really good movie. Do I feel like they did a great job with skinny Steve Rogers, like back when before all the super soldier stuff happened? Yes, that was like a really good first act. But then they got on to the second act. Well, I mean, in the first act, they kind of developed him with the relationship with Peggy Carter, which is pretty good. You'll see more of that in Endgame. I guess, I mean, if you're some of the people I've seen in Instagram comment sections, I guess that's a spoiler, but really, when you think about it, it's not. I'm sorry. But they dive into that a little more. But this movie, Red Skull was a good villain, somewhat. They did a great job developing Steve Rogers and him and his story arc and whatnot. It's just after he gets the super soldier serum, it feels like an explosion movie, which sometimes it can carry on a little too long. I mean, again, there is some pretty good action, and that was a pretty decent final battle. Lines where it says, I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. I mean, that was good. That was good. Oh, by the way, I know this is a Blu-ray. I got this before, but it's actually just the DVD. That was extremely random. I am so sorry to people whose time I'm wasting. But after a while, it just gets long and boring. Again, after he gets the super soldier serum, it's an explosion movie, but I know somewhere inside there is a extremely great movie hiding in there. But with all that being said, I do think it's a good movie overall. It's just, again, I know there's a good movie hiding in there somewhere. My lord, I'm just now on number 16. I have to save some video time. I might edit this part into another video after this one. But coming in at number 6, okay, this one is like, but Matthew, it's an Avengers movie. Why is this so low? But to me, on number 16, Avengers Age of Ultron is a great movie. It really is. Honestly, this might be the one I go to the most. Because it's like a team-up movie. It's like dealing with the Avengers after Avengers 1. It's just, I just feel like it was rushed and just crammed some stuff in there that, like, Bruce and, what's her face? Black Widow, Bruce Banner and Natasha Romanoff's, like, weird love triangle, I guess. I mean, that was just, to me, that was just weird. And Ultron trying to make shield around the Earth, and Vision getting born, and Hawkeye, which Hawkeye had a pretty good character arc in this movie. I'm not gonna lie, they gave Hawkeye a pretty good character arc, like introducing his family and whatnot. And then you have Thor trying to deal with his vision that Scarlet Witch gave him. To me, it was just kind of weird. And I know it's more like Avengers The Weekend with Ultron, because it's not really much of an age. I'm sorry. It's like, literally this movie spans in possibly maybe 3 days. But again, overall, I mean, the action in this movie is pretty solid for when there is action. But, I mean, there is a lot of action, I'm not gonna lie. But Hulkbuster versus Hulk, that scene was freaking awesome. And, oh, sorry. That's with my air conditioner kicking on. Yeah, what you hear is my fan, so, yeah. Really off-topic things. I'm so sorry. I mean, but Ultron was a good villain for the most part. They hired a great voice actor for him. So overall, I mean, it is a wonderful movie. Avengers Age of Ultron has outstanding effects, I'm not gonna lie. But that was number 16, I think. Yeah, number 16, that was Avengers Age of Ultron. Okay, I'm gonna go take a break for a minute, because, I mean, I've already been recording for almost 20 minutes. So I need to let my storage wind down a little bit, so I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. I took a good little break. I let my dogs out, I went to the bathroom. I watched some of my older videos off my camera roll. And so I'm getting back. By the way, I might take a break in between, like, every 4 movies. After every 4 movies. Like, after 4 movies, I'm gonna take a break. And so, because, I mean, in the last video, I talked, like, ranking, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. Like, after 6 movies, I stopped the video for a little bit, took a break, rested my mouth because I was talking a lot. So, to be on the safe side, I got my little friend here, some Mountain Dew. So, let's get back to the video. Coming in at number 15. 15, guys! You got the original Thor! Yes, right here I have my trusty Mjolnir and my movie Thor. And the movie Thor, this is the video that, wow! Okay, I am so sorry. This is the movie that introduces Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston in their roles, respectively, as Thor and Loki. And they both knocked it out of the ballpark with this movie. Although the Dutch angles did kind of get on my nerves a little bit, like how like every establishing shot was a Dutch angle, which is this. Like it's like you have your camera slanted at a certain angle. You'd know it like as soon as you saw it. And I do think a little small desert town in New Mexico was a weird spot for like a sci-fi action movie, so that was pretty weird. And yeah, I mean overall, I mean it's a great movie. This is where like the quality like jumps. It's the same with Iron Man 2 going into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It's like that. And and so that's like from the movies where I'm like, they're okay. And then to that's where they start going like, those are good. This is where they get like very, very, very good. And the top 10 are like best movies in the MCU. So again, some of the sci-fi feel effects hold up really well to this day. Asgard looks glorious. You'd only get that if you're a wrestling fan. Ionic, what? And so, yeah, I mean, it is overall a very great movie. It's really good. So, there you go. Some of my thoughts on Thor. And quick trivia: Guns N' Roses backwards is Caesar and Snug. Coming in at number 14, you get a smaller scale movie. It is called Ant-Man. Okay, guys, I actually really like this movie. I went to see it in the theaters when it came out. When it first came out, it was a very great movie. It has one of the lower budgets of Phase 2 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's very pleasing and a very pleasant movie with all the smaller scale
No pun
stuff.
intended.
I feel like it turned out very great, and I can't wait to see more of them in the future. Same goes for people like what's his face, Michael Douglas. Yeah. Michael Douglas kind of really gets it good in this movie. Evangeline Lilly is very great as Hope Van Dyne. Paul Rudd is outstanding. He's very pleasant in the very kind of smaller role of Ant-Man. And yeah, I do think Yellow Jacket was kind of like a knockoff of Obadiah Stane from the first Iron Man movie. But yeah, again, great movie. I really like rewatching this one. Box office was kind of smaller, on a smaller scale, because Ant-Man is just not that well known of a character. He is now, considering he was in Endgame and had a pretty big role in Endgame. I mean, I did kind of expect a little more from him, but he had a pretty good role. That was very off topic, you guys. I do apologize. So, there you go. That's Ant-Man. And coming in at number 14. Number 13. I am sorry. Okay. Coming in at number, what was this, 13? Is, once again, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Again, had a bigger box office turnout. And then, I think the only bad thing about this was, again, I think maybe the villain, again, was like a knockoff. Back to the original topic now, Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta, this movie is, again, a very pleasant movie with a smaller scale, and, yeah, I do think this movie, you would actually be surprised at the small amount of action. Like, these two movies have, like, not that much action. I mean, they're both kind of heist movies. It's one of those, it smashed my expectations like an ant does to or like a boot does to an ant. So, great movie overall. Not as much action as you would think. Honestly, most of the action you see in the movie was already kind of shown in the trailers. Movie 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Again, I liked it. I saw this in the theaters as well, in the same theater I saw Endgame in, surprisingly. And again, Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly were very great in their roles as respectively Ant-Man and the Wasp. And Michael Douglas was great. Michael Pena was very great in this movie, as he was in Ant-Man. And yeah, again, great movie. Again, my only complaint was that not enough action. I did kind of expect a little more action. I'm reading the review on the back. Marvel Studios at its best. I mean, I guess it could be considered to some people. I mean, is it Marvel at their best? No, not really. That'll go to like my top 10 to me. Anyway, it's definitely my top 5. And so yeah, that's a little bit about Ant-Man and the Wasp. No puns were intended guys, in any of those. This is a very controversial place for this movie. I did like it. Again, this is like my big quality jump. And I do kind of think you have to be a little no, I'm just kidding. A little bit of worthiness in this movie. No, I'm just kidding. That was bad. That'll come a little bit later. Again, this is a very controversial place for this movie, but again, I don't want any hate in the comments. But coming in at number 12, a lot of people really do like this movie. But I'm not saying I don't, but coming in at number 12 is Black Panther. I'm sorry for not having this in the top 10. But again, this list is not the right opinion. It's my opinion. I'm sorry. But to me, Black Panther, I had a lot of expectation. That's my dog, I'm sorry. I had a lot of expectations watching this movie. This is one of the few movies in the MCU I did not... I might have to close the door. 1 second. I think I heard one wrong. Sorry. Again, I really did. I heard that there would be like non-stop. I'm gonna close my door just anyways, because I know my mom and dad will probably walk in later. But I had a lot of expectations watching this movie because I heard there was like non-stop action, which honestly I watched. Action was not non-stop. Was there pretty decent action in it? Yes. Did I love the villain? Oh my gosh, he is one of my favorite villains of all time. And do I think that Black Panther got the same amount of like character arc like he did in Captain America: Civil War? No, but he was really good but Chadwick did really good in this movie. Some of the side characters like Shuri as he calls Shuri in the movie. Honestly, I feel like she was a little overused in this movie, but she was good nonetheless. Okoye was pretty good, but whatever her name is, I really don't remember her name, because I just forgot about her, to be honest. I actually kind of forgot about her, to be honest. She may be... I don't know. I really don't remember her name. Yes, overall, again, it's a great movie. I honestly haven't watched it in a little while. But, I mean, I still am gonna give it kind of a smaller review. Again, Michael B. Jordan, gave his performance of a lifetime in this movie. And I would love to see him more in the MCU, even though it's almost kind of impossible now. But, still, that's weird. But again, overall, a pretty good movie. And pretty good characters, but it's just not... I don't like it as much as a lot of other people do. Okay, now it's time for that little break, so I'll be back. And I'll be going back here in a little bit with my number 11 spot. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Again, I took a little break because I had to let my voice rest. I didn't talk as long in that video, in the other half, but I did talk for a while. So, let's get right into it. Coming in, excuse me, coming in at number 11 is Thor Ragnarok. Yes, folks, we have Thor Ragnarok right here. This is a wonderful movie. Honestly, arguably, maybe Chris Hemsworth. No, I don't do the word. Never mind. Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston, pretty much the whole cast, did extremely well in this movie. You could tell they had a time of their life. Same with good old Jeff Goldblum, who played the Grand Master in this film, which I'm pretty sure we all knew that. Let's be honest here. Yeah, everyone did really well with the roles they were given, even if they had a smaller role. Anthony Hopkins. Yes, humor in this movie was outstanding. Taika Waititi put this movie in a really great direction. And Tom Hiddleston, again, knocked it out of the park with his role as Loki. And what's-her-face as Hela? Kate Blanchett. She did really good as Hela. And, Mark Ruffalo. Again, he did very great as Incredible Hulk, or Bruce Banner, mostly in this movie. Or for some of this movie. Most of the movie, he was still the Hulk. So, yeah, I mean, they all did really great in this movie. So, there you go. There was some stuff about my number 11 pick for Thor Ragnarok. Hey, Jess, hang on 1 minute, but I'm making a video. No, you can get that. Hey, how about that? So, yeah, that was Thor Ragnarok. And coming in at number 10, again, this is one I know a lot of people. This is really where I think my list kind of gets, like, a little crazy, you know? And so, again, this is a movie, I don't know, I'm going to get a little bit of hate because a lot of people sometimes put this over its other upcoming movie. That didn't count as a break, though, because I was still technically talking to somebody. Yeah, my family walked in. And so, here is my number 10. Again, a lot of people put this at, like, sometimes their top 2. But Captain America Civil War, I know a lot of people like this movie. A lot of people, like, really freaking like this movie. I'm not gonna lie. But this is a movie I still really enjoy. Heck, so I do kind of find it like that point where, like, I'm like, why do people, like, I love this movie. I really do, but why do people, like, almost put this at, like, number 1 sometimes? A lot of people put this as, like, their favorite comic book movie. And really, this is a movie I did enjoy. When I walked out of the theater, I was like, this is definitely the best movie out of the trilogy. Then I rewatched it, and I'm like, this is not the best movie out of the trilogy. But, again, I did like this movie. I still love it. I really love this movie. It's just not as good as some people make it out to be. I'm not gonna lie. But there's a little bit, again, the airport battle was outstanding. The final battle between Captain America and Iron Man was outstanding. It was. And Black Panther, I feel like, was at his best in this movie. And Chadwick Boseman, this is still probably his best time as Black Panther. Robert Downey Jr., who's kind of seen more as an antagonist in this movie. He's still knocked out of the park. Chris Evans, hey, I should have the same last name. He knocked it out of the park again as Captain America. All the characters really have good arcs in this movie. It's just still not the best out of the trilogy, in my opinion. Again, this is not the right opinion. This is my opinion. You all have different opinions. Okay. So, with all that being said, let's get right into it. Again, this is probably, like, my most controversial part of my list, because a lot of people put this as their favorite out of the trilogy, but I'm sorry. Coming in at number, 9? the original Iron Man. Yes. This movie is outstanding. This is the movie that gave us the best character in the MCU. That's right. Go ahead. Fight me. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. I swear this movie is the movie that kicked all of it off. And, you know, after a while, a lot of times, CGI doesn't age well after 11 years. But you go back and watch this movie, the CGI in this movie, it's really held up pretty well. It is held up very, very well. Excuse me. I mean, it has. I mean, you can try and prove me wrong, but this, I feel like, has aged the best out of some of the originals. Incredible Hulk. This is probably, it's like one of those post 9/11 movies. It shows, like, Robert Downey Jr. like getting ready as Iron Man. He's in that cave and he's like getting in his first Iron Man suit, which was very outstanding. How many? I might just continue with my list. No, I'll probably again take a break right after number 8. But again, this whole cast knocks out of the park. The only reason why I have this number 2 in this trilogy, only reason why this is number 9, is because, honestly, that third act, I mean, you can try and prove me wrong, go ahead. I feel like the third act kind of felt rushed. I mean, you can agree with me, and you don't have to agree with me, but you can agree with me, and you can try and prove me wrong, but that third act, I mean, they kind of rushed it just a little bit. I mean, they have somewhat gotten better over, they've gotten better of it, or they've gotten better about it somewhat. I mean, there are some movies where third act is still kind of rushed, but I mean, overall, I mean, it's still outstanding. I mean, they did kind of do Jeff Bridges as Obadiah Stane. I mean, they did kind of like they really didn't do him. I mean, he isn't the greatest villain, honestly. I mean, he's still a good villain, but he's not outstanding. I mean, he's not like Tom Hiddleston as Loki, but obviously, but I mean, he's still. I mean, they just didn't. I mean, it's like they it's like I'm not really too logical about movies. I mean, I don't try and give movies like, I don't judge them harshly by all the logic in them. But I mean, come on. If you're going to try and get the company into your hands, don't go and kill innocent people. Don't. You don't do that. If anything, that'll get you arrested. I mean, but again, the final fight was really good, honestly. But again, third act was just rushed. That's the only reason why it's down here. But again, overall, it's an outstanding film. The CGI, honestly, to me, in my personal opinion, it holds up pretty decently. They gave Tony Stark a great character arc in this movie, but it's still a great time. It's fun to look back on this movie and think, wow, this is the one that started all of this. And when they made this, we didn't expect to have, like, arguably the greatest cinematic universe of all time. I mean, I'm sorry, I know a lot of people would say Star Wars, but still, that's my opinion. Again, my opinion only. As people, we all have opinions. Coming in, number 8. I'm gonna get so much hate. I'm going to get so much hate. Coming in at number 8, Iron Man 3. Yes, you heard me right. I think Iron Man 3 is the best out of all the Iron Man movies. I know. But come on. What's not to like about it? I mean, yeah, it has its flaws. It does. But I think the only reason a lot of people hate this, I mean, yeah, go ahead. You can go ahead and tell me why you don't like it in the comments. I mean, go ahead. I don't even care. Heck, even pause this movie. Or pause this movie and tell me, video. I am so freaking sorry. Go ahead, pause this video and tell me why you don't like it. I don't care. I'll let you do that. Okay, did you get it? Alright. Welcome back. To me, think it's a better movie. It's overall, to me, a better movie. Although I didn't mind the Mandarin twist, which a lot of people, I think that's mainly the reason that people don't like this movie, is because of that Mandarin twist, where, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the movie, but if you have, there's a twist in the movie, or if you haven't watched it and you just want to hear my review on it, my little mini review, in the movie, the Mandarin twist is, they're in the first hour or so into this movie, there was this guy who was the Mandarin, and he was this, like, almost kind of terrorist, which is honestly, I think, why I liked him. He was, like, this evil terrorist threatening to kill the president and the vice president, and he was, like, threatening to, like, pretty much kill America. And so, Tony Stark goes and hunts him down, like, without a suit. People are like, oh, he told Peter Parker, if he's nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. He's nothing without the suit. When he said that. And then people go back and nitpick, well, what are you without the suit? And he goes out and, like, kills all these bodyguards, or, like, goes and sneaks out on bodyguards, like, using his mastermind, you know, whatever that was. He goes in and uses his mind and goes and sneaks into the Mandarin's house, which is, like, heavily guarded, I guess, heavily. And he goes in, and then, the twist is that the Mandarin all along was just this actor. Just this actor hired by Aldrich Killian, who ends up being the main villain in the movie. Saying that he wasn't really the Mandarin. And a lot of people didn't like that. In my opinion, I didn't mind the twist, but I also would have loved to have seen how his plan worked out, or how his plan ended up. But so overall, the same people who don't like that are also the same people who complain that it's not comically accurate, are also the same people who say nothing about how comically inaccurate Guardians of the Galaxy is, which I still do love. I mean, you're gonna see that here pretty soon. But, but I'm just like, honestly, that's a little hypocritical. I mean, you'll go and say that you don't like how comically inaccurate Iron Man 3 is, but you don't say anything about Guardians of the Galaxy. This has pretty much been a rant on the people who hate Iron Man 3, but I'm gonna get into why I like it. I like this because I just love how Shane Black interprets how Tony Stark is still suffering PTSD from the Battle of New York, which is, he executed that very great. Robert Downey Jr. does freaking outstanding in this movie. I mean, and honestly, the entire cast actually does pretty well. I mean, Don Cheadle as War Machine, or in this case, Iron Patriot, and Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts, and yeah, I just really like this movie. I mean, it's my opinion. Again, we all have opinions. So, yeah. I mean, I know, this video might get, if it gets a lot of views, it might get a lot of dislikes. I'm not gonna lie. But, honestly, we're all entitled to our own opinion. I mean, we are. Heck, I said I thought Black Panther was kind of overrated, but I didn't really say that. I just now said that, so haha. Yeah, I do like this movie. I do. I just do. There's a lot of scenes in it where, like, the final battle was pretty cool. How it was like Tony Stark going up against Aldrich Killian with all those suits. And while there are times where I think this probably should be called the Tony Stark movie, I do think it is a great conclusion to the Iron Man trilogy. That final scene where he throws his arc reactor into the ocean and he says, "Take away my suits, take away everything, but there is one thing that's still for certain." He takes off his glasses and he says, "I am Iron Man." And that's that moment where, if you were in the theater, you could just sit up and go, I mean, it is. It truly, truly is. They did outstanding with this movie. And again, like I said, a lot of people will disagree with me, and that's okay. There's one thing for certain: can't change opinions right off the bat. Like, you can't just pull off a Thanos and go, there goes your half of your opinion. You know what I mean? Really bad jokes. But I mean, again, there's number, what is this? 8. That's Iron Man 3. And we're gonna take a break. So there's what I think is the best Iron Man movie. Alright guys, I am back, and this is going to be the final 7. I am not going to take a break. I'm just going to get through these because I've already been recording for about 2 hours overall, pretty much. So I'm actually pretty exhausted. It's not going to look like that in the final video. I've been like going to be using cuts, hashtag release the Snyder cut, talk about Justice League if you don't know. I'm going to get over this. So by the end of this video, by the time it's uploaded, I may or may not have a voice because I've been talking a lot. And so with all that being said, let's get right into this. Coming in at number 7 is the big thing called Guardians of the freaking Galaxy. Yes, guys, this movie is outstanding. It is. Now, out. That's my dog, I'm sorry. 1 second. Give me some Jack Links while I'm at it, because I need some. Sorry, that was awkward. I should have done that before. Yes, guys, this is Jack Links. Don't worry, I don't chew tobacco. It shows it on the label. Okay. Please, no copyright. So, Guardians of the Galaxy. I forgot to mention about the second one. I may or may not have. It's been forever ago. This has an outstanding soundtrack. It really does. I mean, you try and name a better movie with a better soundtrack than this. The humor in it is outstanding. Groot, even though he only says 3 words, like I am Groot. Well, 4 if you count the final scene where he says we are Groot. Drax, funny as crap. Rocket, my personal favorite Guardian, was funny. Gamora, and how serious she is. She's like the only serious one out of all of them. And then Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord. Who? Star-Lord, man. He is very great. Chris Pratt, excuse me there, was very funny. And he has great personality, gets great character arc. The only reason it kind of dropped after Guardians 2 was because I didn't care for what they did with him. Imagine, honestly, this is going to sound weird. Imagine, honestly, how better this movie would have been. How much better it would have been if it was a Gamora and Nebula origin story. Go ahead. I know it sounds weird, but their past is just outstanding. They get it into it just a little bit more in the Infinity War. I mean, it's just a great movie overall. If you love humor, if you love outstanding music like I do, this is a movie certainly for you. If you like space, Star Wars type action, again, this movie is just for you. But there you go, Guardians of the Galaxy. This is where, I mean, after pretty much, after Thor, is pretty much where I get to start, like, really loving these movies. Or just, like, really liking them. Like, this is where I just start to, like, love them and whatnot. This movie, actually, I like wizardy type stuff. And if you like that guy that does this, like I do, Doctor Strange is the movie for you. This is number 6. I swear, y'all, this movie, the effects were outstanding. I mean, the effects, the action, I loved wizard karate. Hi. Do not complain about that. That was the greatest gem you will ever find. Okay. Effects were great. You honestly forget how, like, if you haven't watched it in a while, you actually almost forget about it and how good it is. Like, I mean, a lot of people were like, oh, it's just like a cheap knockoff of Iron Man 1. No, it's really not. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of similarities, like this rich guy who thinks he's above everyone else, who thinks he's better than everyone else, who thinks he's smarter than everyone else. No. I mean, yeah, he is. And then he finds like something, and he kind of almost changes his personality. And yeah, my mom just burped. Excuse you. Yeah, she's gonna be publicly humiliated for that. By the way, guys, respect your parents. Really do. You're gonna regret it one day. Wisdom with Matthew. Yes, it's outstanding action. A lot of sorcery. I love his origin story. How he goes from that smart millionaire rich guy, and then he gets in that car crash, and yeah, he finds the magic, and he changes his ways. He's protecting the world from Dormammu. I've come to bargain. Yes, guys, this movie is great. Just the action, the final battle was really, really cool. Wizard Karate is great. Prove me wrong. Okay. Coming in at number 5, my favorite Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homecoming. And soon to be Spider-Man Far From Home sometime soon. We're going to get that on July 5th. I'm really excited for that movie. By the way, predictions for Spider-Man Far From Home, I think it could maybe crack $1 billion. Maybe. I know it kind of sounds like I'm pushing it, but I think it's a possibility that it'll crack $1 billion. Off topic. Again, this is a great movie. A lot of people don't like how Tony Stark's just there to baby him around. Guys, come on. Honestly, I think he's actually a very fitting guy in this. I do feel like he added a little bit of betterness into this movie. And it's just a great movie, most relatable Spider-Man movie. It's more like I know a lot of people say this, it's more like a teen movie featuring Spider-Man, which I like. I mean, I like it. They finally get someone in it who are younger guys. They understand, like, the teenager years, and they don't, like, make them adulty. What? Excuse me. I take random breaks to do that, because, again, I mean, it's hard. Keep continuously talking for possibly, I don't know how long this movie will be, but video might as well be considered a movie because it might be like an hour long. We'll see how it turns out. It's a great film. Like it says, best Spider-Man ever. Go ahead, prove me wrong. And yes, overall, it's a great film. Yeah, the final battle. I like Michael Keaton. I freaking love Michael Keaton as the Vulture. Great. There's like that twist in the middle where he finds out that he's like his girlfriend's dad. And overall, great film. I love it. And coming in at number 4, guys, this movie. I love this movie. I like how it's like a spy thriller featuring Captain America. It's like, it holds up your spy movie. It's great. Coming in at number 4, Captain America, The Winter Soldier. I really freaking love this movie. I love how it's like your kind of war movie mixed in with that spy movie, heist movie. I love that. And I love how it's just able to hold up. Not really hold up, but you know what I mean. This movie, it's just a great film. This is the first time I think I've ever talked about it on my channel. I might be wrong. I'm more than likely right, but because I don't remember talking about it on my channel, but I have a good bit of videos up. So, this movie is just outstanding. It's good. It's great. It's amazing. I love the setting. I love the characters. Nick Fury, Alexander Pierce, the Winter Soldier, Black Widow. And Chris Evans is Captain America. Again, I actually share the same last name. There's just so much about this movie I can't really explain without forgetting, because a lot of people didn't care for the whole Zemo, or not Zemo, Zemo. I don't know. Oh, I forget his name. I don't care. A lot of people don't care for that, and I think it was kind of weird how they get this, computer guy, and they give him they give this computer voice a German accent and have it connected with the Captain America origins. The thing I like the most about the Captain America trilogy is how they all tie into each other. Like, they always have something to do with the previous movies. That was way off topic. I apologize. So, great movie, outstanding action, that highway fight scene and the elevator fight scene and the final fight scene. All the fights in this movie are freaking awesome. You could prove me wrong. Okay. So with all that being said, here we get the top 3. Guys, these are the top 3. Easily some of my favorite movies of all time. Easily. So coming in at number 3, which my mom and my little brother Jace are in there watching. Number 3. Thor the Dark World. No, I'm just kidding. Thor the Dark World. Okay, I know. I like them. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, The Avengers. Again, guys, this movie, I know MCU kicked off with the first Iron Man, but I feel like this is what put it into hyperdrive. Or hyperspeed. This is what really kickstart. Like, they went from origin stories to, okay, we're kicking this into freaking kickstart. Yeah, tribute to Motley Crue. I like that band. Tribute to Kickstart My Heart. Kickstart My Heart. Ooh, right. Okay, The Avengers is what really put the MCU on the map. Honestly, it really is. You can try and prove me wrong all you want. I've said that a lot. Go ahead, you can go back and count how many times I said prove me wrong. I'm sorry. Oh, kind of open. But guys, overall, this is a great film. Yeah, I know some of the effects kind of get a little kind of bad because, you know, the Chitauri and the effects from Loki's scepter. Yes, it did kind of get a little rocky at times, but that final battle and this scene right here, which a lot of people call Avengers Assemble, is awesome. I mean, that is honestly one of my favorite fight scenes of all time. Easily. Okay. So, all that being said, let's get into number 2. Number 2 was my favorite movie of all time for a while. And then the one movie came out, which we'll talk about here. But number 2 is Avengers Infinity War. This movie, guys, at the end, it was, in the beginning, it was like, whoa, that was destruction. It kind of gave Thor Ragnarok that, what was it, Aliens 3 vibe, which gave Thor Ragnarok that Aliens 3 mix, but, which, I think kind of ruined it a little bit, but, because it's like, oh, happy day at the end of the Thor Ragnarok, oh, yay, we all won, yay, celebrate, and then you get into Avengers Infinity War, and you look at Asgard, and it's just freaking annihilated. I mean, it is, and then you get up into the movie, they introduce some of the other characters, and you're like, wow, and then you watch it a little more, and you're just like, wow, guys, this film is outstanding. The middle act, great. Thor comes in, stabs Thanos in the chest at the end, and then Thanos says, should have gone for the head, and then that iconic scene where Thanos raises his fist and goes. He snaps half the universe, heartbreak at the end, and overall outstanding movie, great action, and great humor, and overall a very outstanding and fun time. Now this next movie, my favorite movie of all time, again, I'm going to say it again, prove me wrong, might be the best theater experience I've ever had, and that you quite possibly have had. Even though it was very long and hard, not really hard, but it was long, and that movie, number one, is Thor: The Dark World. Just kidding. Incredible Hulk. No, also just kidding. Ha, fooled ya. And number one, Avengers Endgame. Guys, that movie, I obviously don't have it because, I could hold this. I don't have it because, obviously, it's still in theaters and is making, as last I checked, about 1.7, maybe $6 billion, which is amazing. Congratulations to the Russo brothers and Marvel Studios. Outstanding movie. I love it. Heartbreak at the end of the movie. Heartbreak kind of a little earlier in the movie. Not earlier, but you know what I mean. And that first 5 minutes, yeah, that was kind of heartbreaking a little bit. And then you get into that, I guess, second act, and you feel kind of sad about it. And then you get a little more earlier into the second act. Yeah, it did kind of drag on a little bit. It's the only hard thing, it's the only bad thing I can say, really. And about Infinity War, too. The only bad thing I can say about it was, I guess, the lack of Captain America and the lack of... I didn't really care for Black Widow's character arc in Infinity War, but going back to Endgame, every character had their time to shine. Hawkeye really surprised me. Oh, speaking of Hawkeye, I opened the video. This guy right here, Hawkeye, gave off... Honestly, Jeremy Renner killed it as Hawkeye in this movie. Why am I still holding Hawkeye? You know what? Ronan, you were great. You will go on top of Thor's hammer. That may or may not work. There we go. Here, better idea. I'll cross my legs, and I'll continue to... Oh, crap. Oh, my, that would have been tragic. The MCU would have come tumbling down. Oh, well. And that final fight, and... You know what? Screw you, Jeremy. Or Clint, or whatever you call him. So, that final fight in the movie was very outstanding. And the final fight was great. Arguably the best action I've ever seen. And, so, yeah. I mean, guys, that movie was amazing. I mean, it's my personal favorite movie of all time. So, yeah, the movie is outstanding. You can try and prove me wrong all you want. I know some people still like Infinity War better. Some people still like Thor Ragnarok better. And that's fine, your opinion. But in my opinion, Avengers Endgame is the best Marvel movie, the best MCU movie, and the greatest movie ever made. So, guys, that concludes the list. This has been a, honestly, kind of exhausting video to make. I'm not going to lie. This has been a very tiring video. This might end up having to be like a movie. I might... this is going to be a very long video. I don't know how long it'll take to upload this. But, yeah, I've had to, look off this for all the movies, Yeah. So, guys, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this. For taking time out of your day, and I possibly wasted so much of your time. And I thank you for that. I mean, really, this has been an exhausting video to make. But, again, thank you guys so much for watching. I am tired, just like you are. I'm tired. My throat is kind of hurting. Mostly because of how long I've talked. So, like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, also coming soon, I am possibly going to do a ranking every Star Wars movie. And soon I may or may not do a DCEU ranking video. DCEU, which is like a Batman v Superman, Shazam, and whatnot. Wow, that was long. Again, I might do a Star Wars ranking video sometime soon. I mean, I've got almost every one of them, except for Rogue One, Solo, and The Phantom Menace. That was shocking. That was very off topic, but thank you guys so much for watching. I do apologize for taking up a lot of your time. So, like, comment, and subscribe if you are new. See y'all in the next video. Bye!